Today, we need to have a serious conversation about the Griffin siblings. We all know Chris and Meg are usually the punching bags of the family, but what happens when these two actually team up?
It's never been this bad before. What do we do?
What we always do.
I'm in charge of my head, that much I know!
Well, things get incredibly weird, deeply uncomfortable, and undeniably sus.
Chris, our bath is ready.
I don't know what to do now.
Today, we are breaking down the most sus Chris and Meg siblings moments. Let's start the show. Kicking off our list is Season 9, Episode 4, Halloween on Spooner Street. You guys, if you thought typical high school parties were awkward, wait until you see the absolute disaster waiting for Meg and Chris. In this episode, a simple Halloween party game leads to a closet encounter that will literally make your jaw drop, especially when you find out this might be a regular occurrence for these two. The chaos starts with Meg getting ready for her very first big high school Halloween party. When Lois asks what her costume is, Meg reveals she is going as a sweaty cat. It isn't exactly the most glamorous costume, but Meg and her friends have one highly specific goal for the night. They want to get some action.
These things always end up in makeout session.
To make this happen, the girls devise a seemingly foolproof plan. They decide that if they keep their masks on for the entire party, the guys won't know who they are, which significantly increases their chances of actually locking lips with someone.
All right, you guys, these domestic dispute situations can get pretty dicey, so I need you to stay in the car, okay? No joking around.
At the party, things are going exactly according to plan. The teens sit down for a classic game of spin the bottle, where the rules dictate that whoever the bottle points to has to go into the closet for 7 minutes of heaven.
Hey, Cat, you're up next.
Oh my god, this is totally working! Nobody knows who we are!
The bottle gets spun and perfectly lands on the sweaty cat and a guy dressed as Optimus Prime. Meg and the disguised guy head into the closet.
Oh my god, you're gonna hook up with a boy! I know! I can't believe it!
But they don't just stay in there for 7 minutes. They are in there making out for a whopping 27 minutes. Eventually, they opens the closet door to see what's going on, and she makes a horrifying discovery.
Chris?
Meg?
Oh my god, what are you doing here?
The two teens pull off their masks, revealing themselves to be none other than Chris and Meg. They immediately completely freak out, with Meg screaming that they are disgusting and a total disgrace to the family.
We're a disgrace to our family!
Oh, maybe I can get in on this.
But here is where things get genuinely sus and deeply uncomfortable.
Why do you and Meg smell like sweat and shame?
While they act totally disgusted because they got caught, longtime fans know this isn't the only time they've done stuff like this. But the absolute wildest part of this whole Halloween ordeal, by the end of the night, Meg doesn't even view this highly inappropriate family bonding as a bad thing. Instead, she takes it as a massive win, simply because she can technically say she hooked up with a high school guy that night. Up next is Season 22, Episode 6, Boston's Stewie. What happens when siblings discover a highly lucrative, yet incredibly sus market on the internet? They start a joint, fans-only business, of course, but the product they are selling will leave you absolutely speechless. And it shows just how far these two are willing to go for a little online clout and cash. The bizarre storyline kicks off when Meg is baking a fresh batch of cupcakes in the kitchen.
Where's my phone? I gotta text Patty and let her know she can have half of these for her cat's funeral.
She makes the fatal mistake of leaving Chris alone with her baked goods, and instead of just eating them like a normal person, Chris decides to take a much weirder route. He pulls down his pants and completely squishes the cupcakes with his backside.
Turkey dinner is complete without a little undernut squash.
Disgusted, Meg decides the ultimate revenge is to post the video online to publicly humiliate her brother. But in a wild twist that proves just how weird the internet can be, the video actually blows up, getting over 20,000 likes.
Oh my god! This cupcake video got 20,000 likes!
Only likes matter. Likes rule all.
Seeing an opportunity to make some serious cash off this weird fetish, Meg proposes they start a joint, fans-only account, where Chris sits on her pastries.
Go get a business plan, some seed capital, and an S-corp registered in the state of Delaware, and then maybe we'll talk.
Meg even goes as far as registering an S-corp in the state of Delaware to legitimize their spicy baked goods empire. They start filming their content together, using the hilariously sad excuse that their dad fell in the shower, so they desperately need the money. As the money rolls in, Chris becomes a local celebrity, but the fame quickly gets to his head. Fans start recognizing him in public as the guy who will sit on anything, with one guy even interrupting Chris's dinner to ask if he will come over and sit on his wife's avocado.
Come on, man, I'm out with my family.
You Hollywood celebrities! Sheesh! Don't meet your heroes, huh?
The breaking point finally comes during a shoot, when the fans in the chat demand that Chris smash a brownie with his knee. Acting like a true tortured artist, Chris completely refuses, famously declaring that he doesn't do knee stuff.
What do we do with pie designs, Meg? Huh? What do we do?
And dramatically quits the business.
Everyone, I quit!
Desperate to keep the money flowing, Meg actually hires Peter to fill in for Chris, which honestly just adds an entirely new layer of sus to this whole family dynamic.
And why am I snorting regular coke when I specifically requested bacon-wrapped coke?
There's no such thing as bacon-wrapped coke.
However, Peter acts like a total Hollywood diva, demanding bacon-wrapped treats and refusing to work until his Halloween costumes are dry cleaned. Meanwhile, Chris hits rock bottom. Going through withdrawals from his cake-sitting fame, he resorts to wandering the streets.
Hey, baby, I want to party with that ice cream cone. $5 and I'll sit on it.
Offering to sit on a stranger's ice cream cone for $5. Just as a guy offers him $20 to degrade himself by doing knee stuff to a chipwich, Meg swoops in to save him.
What happened to you, man?
This is all I'm good for, Meg.
She tells Chris he has so much more to offer, and the two siblings reconcile by sharing one last, beautiful and utterly disturbing cupcake smoosh together on the side of the road.
Next up, we have Season 11, Episode 19, Save the Clam. If you thought a normal after-school job involved flipping burgers or folding clothes, think again, because Meg decides to take a much darker career path. In this deeply uncomfortable storyline, her new job at a morgue leads to Chris treating the deceased like his own personal action figures, which eventually forces Meg to make him the star attraction of an open casket wake. The whole bizarre situation kicks off after the owner of the drunken clam, Horace, tragically passes away from a softball to the face during a community game.
Before today, I didn't know the Munsters were driving around in a funeral car. I'm beginning to think everything on that show was a big joke.
During his funeral, Meg wanders off to find the restroom but accidentally strolls right into the morgue. Instead of running away screaming, Meg is totally unfazed by the lifeless bodies, which highly impresses the mortician.
Oh, here, let me help you with that. Ah. There you go. Now you're all set for your big day.
Seeing her cold composure, he actually offers her a part-time job preparing the bodies, and she happily accepts. Naturally, when Chris finds out his sister works around the deceased, his disturbed teenage brain sees it as an absolute playground.
No way! You get to work with all these dead people?
He drops by the funeral home for a visit, immediately messing with the bodies and even making one of them pick its own nose and eat it. But Chris's incredibly sus behavior doesn't stop there. When Meg goes to change the suit on another gentleman, she turns around to find the casket completely empty.
Oh my God!
Chris casually admits that he borrowed the deceased man's undergarments, used the body to sneak into an R-rated movie, and then took the corpse swimming, where it unfortunately completely fell apart in the water like a highly disturbing version of Weekend at Bernie's. Furious and panicking, Meg ruthlessly tells Chris that there has to be a body in that casket, and if it isn't the missing guy, it is going to be him. Left with no other choice.
Hey guys, what's going on? And no one says anything, which means they hate it.
Meg glues a fake silver beard onto Chris and forces him to pose as the deceased man for the open casket wake.
Meg, I'm not doing this.
You have to, Chris. Siblings have to look out for each other.
While lying perfectly still in the coffin, Chris complains that he has a serious itch in his lower regions. Meg quickly reminds him that dead people don't scratch themselves down there, which leads to the wildly uncomfortable moment of Meg having to secretly reach in and scratch it for him while no one is looking.
Yeah, that's good.
Scratch it. Scratch it.
To make this incredibly weird sibling moment even more terrifying, the deceased man's widow approaches the casket and announces that her husband was an organ donor. She tearfully explains that his face is going to be surgically removed and donated to a woman who recently lost hers in a freak accident. Let's just say Chris's fake corpse gig is about to get a whole lot more permanent. Wrapping up our list is Season 19, Episode 17, Young Parent Trap. In this episode, Chris and Meg take sibling teamwork to a weird new level by actually pretending to be a young hipster married couple just to exact revenge on their parents. The whole mess begins at a parent-teacher night at Stewie's preschool, where Peter and Lois get mistaken for a young couple by some other parents.
Oh my God, Peter, did you hear that? They think Stewie's our first. They think we're young.
Their egos get massively inflated by the compliment, leading them to completely upend their lives and move into a trendy millennial apartment complex.
I don't know, Peter. It just doesn't feel like the responsible thing to abandon Chris and Meg.
To cover their tracks, they lie to Chris and Meg, claiming they have to leave town to visit a sick relative named Uncle Grandpa.
Wow, they're really gone. You know what that means.
We can
finally
finally
crate Brian!
With their parents gone, Chris and Meg are left to their own devices at the house, getting into mischief and waiting around for a lasagna that Brian tricked them into believing was coming. They let the house turn into a complete disaster zone, and eventually they run out of frozen food to eat. When the siblings finally figure out that their parents actually just abandoned them to live a fake millennial lifestyle, they decide it's time to expose them at their own game. Chris and Meg show up at the apartment complex completely decked out in hipster gear, introducing themselves to Peter and Lois as the new couple moving in.
Oh my God.
I know, that's the guy from the catamaran commercial.
To sell the illusion, they claim that in the modern era, you don't take your husband's last name. You take his first name, meaning they are a married couple who are both named Dylan.
I'm Dylan, and this is my wife, Dylan.
Oh, same name couple, that's the dream.
The two Dylans set out to expose Peter and Lois as the old farts they really are. They start torturing their parents with modern technology, like asking Lois to take a photo of them and airdrop it, knowing a woman her age has no idea how to do that.
What the is airdrop? Is that Wi-Fi?
But the ultimate test comes when the Dylans invite Peter and Lois to Coachella, a loud 3-day music festival in Quahog.
Guys, we're here.
Yep, there's the local mosquito and gnat population anxiously awaiting my arrival.
The brutal, hot walk through the desert from the parking lot is enough to completely break Peter and Lois.
We're getting close. I can see the stages.
Oh, there's nothing there. That's just a mirage.
Forcing them to tap out and admit they are old and absolutely hate it.
No, we're old. We hate this.
Well, this is a surprise.
We have to give Meg and Chris some credit for successfully out-millennialing their parents, but pretending to be a married couple to do it definitely adds another layer of sus to their sibling dynamic.
Chris, give us the ibuprofen and text the driver to pick us up here. I don't know how to do it.